Lene is 21 years with KW. That's pretty impressive. So happy work anniversary. We welcomed in May, Gabriella, Caleb, Riley, Rachel, Moody, Cora, Michaela, Alexandria, and Christian. We welcomed all of them in May. Rachel, Cora, Michaela, and Lexi is Lexi Alexandria, right? Goes by Lexi. Yeah. Okay. They are actually from Moab, and we are super excited to welcome our Moab team. They're a huge team out of Moab, so if you guys need anything in that area, they are your people for sure. So we're super excited to welcome them to KW. You hit the mouse. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a couple bucket fills. Allison.
I went out of town last week and I had a lot of help. So Russie helped a lot. Tom helped a lot.
You had a lot.
A lot of help.
I heard water something.
She did a water heater go out?
A lot of
Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that we all pull together like a team to help each other.
Makes a huge difference for sure. Christy.
I want to thank everyone that came to our Shuttle the Producer series on Thursday.
Yep, second.
Yeah, like everyone that attended, thank you for attending and taking your time to do that. It was like we learned as much as I think they did. So it was great. Yeah, good collaboration.
Yeah, that was my shout out is those two put this together, and it wasn't like telling us what to do. It was like this conversation of, and I think all of us took away like, oh, I should do that, or oh, I should get like, time. That it was very yeah.
But can I just add, I feel like there was not enough people. They put a lot of work into this. It was very informative. I've been around for only 6 years, but I learned a lot. And I really feel like people should make an effort to come. Again, I don't want to be like repeating myself, but if you go to another brokerage, you don't have that. You really don't have that. This is my third one. I'm going to stay here because everything that we learn is just amazing. Make an effort. Put it on your calendar. It's really worth it.
Yeah, definitely not enough people in the room to the value that was there.
Other brokerages don't collaborate like this.
Yeah. And it is a series, so we will be doing others, and it's not
good news is you didn't lose out forever. There's another chance.
And it's not the Dalton and Christie show. We're gonna have other producing agents there to have you shuttle. So it's gonna be awesome.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else bucket fills? Okay. This week, today we have Tech Bar at 1:30. At 9:30, we have conversational frameworks on Thursday with Coach Allison. Thursday at 11, we have a lone wolf training. This is through KW Utah. So if you've missed the lone wolf trainings locally, Kimber is doing a lone wolf training with KW Utah. And then Friday, we have our Pathway to Production call, which if you don't know, we've been focusing on the book, The One Thing, this month and the Pathway to Production. Allison has it right here. And I missed last week, so I'm not sure, but I think we're on chapter 5. If you haven't read The One Thing, it is a quick, easy read. You can very much catch up. You're going to have to read, I think, about maybe 10 pages, 15 pages from now until Friday. So if you want to catch up on The One Thing, this has been a really good, it is geared to like newer agents or agents entering the industry, but I will tell you that there's a lot of agents that are already in production that are just using it as a good way to get back to basics. So Pathway to Production calls Friday at 10 a.m. Vinci does send out a text for that. If you are not getting our text messages, that means at some point you either marked us as spam or unsubscribed or something like that. And we really try not to send out too many. So if you're not getting messages, please see Vinci and she will get you resubscribed.
Mm-hmm.
And then
resubscribe, but I'll show you how.
Okay. And then Monday at 9:30 is Wealth Through Real Estate with Justin and Jessica, and they're going to talk more about that today. And then Monday through Friday is our accountability huddle. I thought I had a slide for it. That's it. But I'll talk about that when I get there, I guess. Rookie Real Estate Agent is coming up June 12th. It is from 11 to 5. You do need to use the QR code to register so we know how many people to plan on for lunch. The Rookie Real Estate Agent follows, it's a workshop style. It follows the book, The Rookie Real Estate Agent. It is the recipe on how to make $100K a year in real estate. So if you are not netting how to net 100K in your first year in real estate. If you are not netting 100K in real estate, this would probably be a really good workshop for you to come to. This is also a really good invitable class. I get conversations, I hear calls or I get messages from you guys on a pretty regular basis saying, I'm doing a deal with so-and-so and they're a new agent and they need help. Like they need our help. They need us. Can you send them a contracts class? Can you do something? This is a really good one to invite a friend to that maybe is newer in the industry that just needs to walk away with a little bit more structure and plan to how to make some money in this industry. So that is June 12th. That's just right around the corner next Friday from 11 to 5.
That class is also where it's a workshop, so it's not like us lecturing you like, hey, here's how many houses you need to sell. Sure, we're gonna go through the economic model, but it's a lot of journaling. It's a lot of discovery.
Reflection.
What kind of agent do you want to be?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much hands-on workshopping. We do want you to engage as much as possible. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not gonna preach at some point, because you guys know sometimes I just like when I am like getting passionate about a topic. So like I'd like to pretend like I'm never gonna get there, but I might. But we're gonna keep it interactive. So that's the good. Wealth through real estate. I'm gonna let Justin and Jessica, are you gonna talk more about this in your training today, or do you want to talk about it right now? This is about the ongoing.
Either other.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to make money in real estate, this is personal money, not sales money. We're not teaching you how to sell houses. We're going to teach you how to invest, track your net worth, make plans for the future so that you're not stuck doing this forever and ever and ever. So we're going to talk today, part of team meeting, and then we're going to have a series, like kind of like a book club moving forward. And have some guest speakers and things come in. So it's free, and we just want you to, like Mish said, like want you to participate. Yeah, girl, thanks.
I have a bucket filled for LLC because that little wall back there for Associate Leadership Council. Man, this year has just been like a whole other level of engagement with the ALC and just a whole other level of just bringing value. And so if you guys appreciate the things that they're doing, tell them thank you. You know, the best way to tell them thank you is to come to some of the stuff that they're putting their time and energy into. It's not a paid position. Like most boards or committees or anything like that you join, it's not a paid position, but you will gain by being part of it. So anyway, that's another.
Sorry, and things like these are not free.
No.
They are at no cost to you.
Right.
But there's a lot of time that goes into preparing for it. There's a lot of thought process, there's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of research to bring you the value.
Yep.
So it's definitely not free. You don't have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay for it, but there's
someone else is investing in you, so take the opportunity.
Yeah.
And or another way to look at it, if you're struggling to figure out why it is you pay a cap, it's because you have access to endless knowledge from people who are better at doing what you're wanting to get better at doing, just as a thought.
Lone Wolf Foundations with Kimber Walton. This is coming up, as I mentioned, this Thursday from 11 to 12. It is a virtual training. She's going to walk through how to set up your account, how to connect your transact to your opportunity, how to learn to send documents to your clients, and then a brief overview of how to back up any documents that you want backed up from DocuSign using API Nation. So I know some of you have asked about backing up your documents. This is a way to do it through API Nation that it actually just will kind of work in the background and download everything for you. So if you want more information about that, Kimber can do that. That is a subscription service. I think like 1 month was like $30. So it cost you $30 to sign up for 1 month to be able to download anything that you need at DocuSign.
Yeah, keep in mind when everyone signs DocuSign, it does drop it in your email too. So you might have the stuff there.
And if it was something you needed for compliance, it's already in command, which you'll have access to for Okay, Breakthrough 120. I do want to talk about this for just a minute. This is daily at 8:30. It is an accountability call. The idea behind Breakthrough 120 is that if you made 10 real estate related calls, you had 10 conversations, not just calls, you actually had 10 real estate conversations, that in 120 days, you should have 9 agreements. This is even the statistics based on like a primarily newer agent base. So if I'm a producing agent, I'm thinking to myself, I really want to have a better summer, a better Q2, or I want to beat my last year's Q2, or I just want to set myself up for success moving into the fall and winter season. I would maybe consider coming to this accountability call. It's Monday through Friday. It's an 8:30s. It's a Zoom. It's 30 minutes. Each week has a focused topic. So our topic this week, I'm going to screw it up because every time I said it, so Allison will correct me. But our topic this week is
The dilemma,
the dilemma between
design.
desire and success. The dilemma between desire and success.
You're doing great.
Because many people desire, right? Like, does everybody have desires in this world? Business, personal, whatever, right? Like everybody has a desire, but what's the dilemma between the desire and the success? And so much of it is action-based. And so I don't want to stand here every week and preach lead generation. But it hurts my soul when I have people that are frustrated with their business, or they're behind in their goals, or they're struggling to provide for their family, or not even just struggling to put food on the table, but struggling to have a life that they're really excited about. And then I say things like, what about if you came to an accountability call and you just took 30 minutes to get your mindset right in the morning and report to somebody what you're doing? By the way, there's no shaming on this call. We're not like, get out of the call. You didn't make your 10 calls. Goodbye. We don't exit you out. We're trying to come from discovery. So I'm just going to really encourage you. It's literally at coachallison.com. Even if you just are like, you know what? I don't want to commit to a 8:30 class, but I do want to track it. I want to be able to look at my numbers. I want to track them and have a report to look over in 120 days from now to say, how did you actually do? Scan the QR code. That's the accountability tracker. You can track your numbers without coming to the daily call if you'd want to. The daily call is 30 minutes. Again, it's action-based. There is reflection questions, same thing. We're going to talk through some of the struggles. We have some market updates on there. So it is a good use of 30 minutes. And I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit, figuring out why, and I'm not going to make contact with anybody because it's not necessarily the people sitting in this room, but I'm just trying to figure out why we can't, why more people aren't wanting to track their numbers.
For the people that are coming to that, are you guys getting value out of it? Does anybody want to share?
Mike is saying absolutely. He's shaking his head back there. Christian's saying yeah. So I really want to.
One step, Bradley.
Obviously.
I also appreciate
I just want to encourage you guys. The language of real estate starts with knowing your numbers. And even if maybe you're going to hit 20 conversations one day and you're going to hit 5 the next, and it's going to average out or whatever it's going to look like for you, but it's going to give you data to be able to predict your business better. If you're only making 1 or 2 calls and then you're like, I'm not getting any appointments, it's not a surprise. And if you're getting an appointment with 1 or 2 calls, I'm going to guess that call was teed up for you. I'm going to guess it wasn't you being intentional. And so I'm just going to ask you to be a little bit more intentional with your business. Take some time, track your numbers. This is a really powerful tool. When you walk out of this tracking period, even if you just tracked for 30 days and you said, okay, for 30 days, I made this amount of calls, I got this amount of appointments, I got this amount of agreements signed, that's going to give you some data to be able to predict your business better for next month and the next month and the next month. So if you're already tracking, great. Kudos. I'm excited for you. If you want a little bit of accountability around it, or maybe even just a little bit of coaching, because if I'm seeing people making a lot of calls and it's not relating to any activity, we need to look at your calls. We need to look at who are you talking to and what does the conversation look like. So that's my little preach for today. It's every day. Coach
It's more fun than that, though. It doesn't sound preachy every morning.
It really is fun. We talk about things that are real and we're being real and vulnerable too. Like today, it was like, what does success look like for you in your real estate business?
Well, and I
I
also
think it looks
like how we
different all the
talked
time.
about real transactions that are happening and working through those problems. So you're getting a variety of
insight. Christy.
I'll just add, we are running businesses.
Yes.
And if you're running any other business out there and you didn't know what your numbers were, how are you going to know how you're going to be profitable? So it goes all the way back to like treating your business as a business. And the first way to treat it as a business is be accountable and know your numbers.
Absolutely. I love it.
take away the dilemma.
Okay. Speaking of business and knowing your numbers, Mega Camp is coming up. Tier 1 ticket pricing ends July 15th. They just announced, I should have had Vinci change the slide. They just announced the keynote for Wednesday is Simon Sinek.
Ooh.
So if you guys know who he is, he wrote the book Start With Why, Leaders Eat Last. He is incredible. He was supposed to be the keynote in 2022, I think, 21 maybe, and he ended up sick as hell with COVID. And so he was sad to cancel at the last minute, like literally 2 days before the event. He was super sad about it. They have been trying to reschedule this man ever since. He's got a very busy schedule. So I'm super excited. He's going to be there. That is in Texas from the 17th to 20th. Fun fact, the 20th is a leadership day. So if you really only wanted to go the 17th to the 19th, you can fly out in the afternoon on the 19th and get home within 3 days. You could fly in on the morning of the 17th. It is a very short period of time. One thing that I do love about Mega Camp, every single person on stage has been vetted by Gary Keller and team. So speaking of knowing your numbers, there is not one person that does not know their numbers and is not willing to go, here's my business plan and here's my P&L. So Gary is putting people on stage that are the real deal, and that is coming up. So make sure you get your ticket. The tier 1 ticket pricing ends July 15th. If you still want to have this spread over, if you're like, I really want to go, I have 2 closings that are scheduled to close on July 18th, and I want to get tier 1 ticket pricing, go see Chris. He can help you set up a payment plan, either monthly through your closings, whatever it is. So July 15th is the tier 1 ticket pricing ending. Wants and needs. Justin, tell us about yours. I'm gonna write while you talk.
That top one is my east bench. We just had pictures done today. So if you want to see it, I've got a key box on it. You can go check it out. It should go pretty quick. It's still like a grandma house. Pictures actually look surprisingly better than I thought. So
Is it flipped or it needs to be flipped? I'm guessing on the price, it's a flip opportunity.
yeah, it needs carpet, paint, and some love.
Nice.
But
And it's a great price for it.
but it's super high on the east bench, like 16th east, so well above Harrison. Should go pretty quick. I've got my Syracuse house. They are super motivated, 6-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom. They just finished the basement. It's got a separate furnace down there. Solar will come with the house. It's only like 4 years old, 3-car garage. Still have my West Jordan luxury house. I'm gonna have an event on Friday, so if you want some free wine and you want to be in West Jordan, you can't get drunk there, but depending on how many people come, you might just go home with a bottle. You know. But yeah, it's a beautiful house. They're moving to Michigan, so they have to sell it. So come bring me an offer. I've got a triplex on the 9th and 9th area of Salt Lake that we're gonna get going. There's really nothing downtown, so if you know anyone that wants to invest in downtown, the owner's spot is totally redone. Like I would live there. It's a beautiful house. And then I've got an East Layton flip that's gonna need a dumpster and a fire, and will be somewhere in the low 4s. So south of,
Dumpster.
I'm really selling this one.
This one, you are doing a great job.
We're gonna have to move somebody out that's squatting in the driveway. But yeah, it's south of the mall here. So just east, the old military style houses. But should be in the low 400s probably the next couple weeks. So if you know someone who wants to live in Layton, more details to come. Oh, and I have 2 rentals that have new carpet, new paint in South Ogden, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, for $2,250, and an upstairs with a duplex for $1,950. Both have new carpet, new paint.
On your rentals, we allow short term.
Possibly. Yeah, depends on depends on how short is short, but probably that duplex would be the easiest one.
Christina, how much space they need, but I might have a lead on a furnished that would do a short term. It's a basement apartment, but it's large. Okay. Like, I think it's probably 17 or 1800 square feet. I think there's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, laundry, everything, and it would be furnished. Okay. So anyway, let me know if you make yourself up something back. Okay.
Or unfurnished.
Or unfurnished, Justin. Yes, you weren't sure about short term. I have someone who's like, yes, I would absolutely.
Moving on.
Christy with Connection Homes. Tell us about your new listing.
Okay, so we have one in North Salt Lake, it's single family in South Foxborough, so that's the area that does not have an HOA, so those ones are priced a little bit higher. 3 bed, 3 bath, meticulously maintained. They are offering a rate buy down on this one, so we ran numbers. You could have a mortgage payment under $3,000 in North Salt Lake with the rate buy down. The next one is our condo in Mill Creek. 3 bed, 2 bath. It has two private balconies. It's on the second floor. It has 2 designated garage parking spaces as well. But the back where the balconies are, it's completely private. There's just trees and everything there. That one was at $430. It has full amenities. It's an HOA. And then we do have a duplex coming online in the avenues. We're going to do it as a coming soon first, and then we'll hit the market. She has tenants in the lower level. It's an up and down. Yes. So that one will come online, will be coming soon, but then it will come online probably like the first week of July, depending when we do the coming soon. But 6 bed, 4 bath. So it's a legal duplex, but then it has, you could actually have it as a triplex, but there's a basement, separate entrance for a whole different area that is also could be rented. So yeah, great location in the avenues.
Love it. Catherine is in a UAR leadership class today, so she asked me to pop this on there for her. She has a North Ogden townhouse coming soon. It's actually on the MLS and coming soon status now, so you can search her name and see it. It's a 2 bed, 1.5 bath with a 1-car garage for $289,500. It's on 400 East in North Ogden, so I think it's in those Aspen Village, or what are those ones, Sean, that are off 20 Sunbrook. Anyway, so around there. I have a Washington Terrace condo. It is a 2, 1.5 as well. It's $265. It has a carport, plus it has a nice little private balcony right off the primary bedroom, which is really cute. Big enough for, like, she's got a couple chairs and some plants and stuff out there, so it's a pretty decent sized little balcony. And then also I have an Ogden townhouse. It's also a 2, 1.5. It's $285. There is carport plus 1 other dedicated parking spot no one else can park in. The nice thing about this one, this is in Sarah Lane. It's Riverview Townhomes, and hers is the back of the property. So there's just like a big grassy area and then a vinyl fence. So there's no backyard neighbors directly behind you. Some of those have, you're looking out the backyard into somebody else's yard on some of those. This one is not one of those. I will tell you, she's pretty motivated. So if you've got anybody, both of these people are fairly motivated. If you've got somebody even in the price range, go check it out. They're both really cute and well-maintained homes. There's a lot of townhouses on the market right now, so let's try to sell ours within our offices first. Okay, who else has wants and needs but didn't get them added up here? Okay, Anna, and then
I have a duplex in Layton that's on the market. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom each unit. We just did a $10,000 price drop, so it's at $590. I also have a Roy listing. I'm sorry, on that duplex, everything is new. Electrical, plumbing, roof, windows, kitchen, bathroom, you name it.
and they were 2, is that what you said? 2 bedroom, 2 bath,
1 bathroom.
2 bedroom, 1 bath. Okay,
The Roy listing is a 5 bedroom, 2 full bathroom, corner lot, next to a cul-de-sac, walking distance from the park, fairly renovated, and flooring. That one is at $440. I did have one come back on the market due to the environment health issues. That was on 28th Street in Ogden. It's a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom. Oh, that was at $340,000. It has an effective year built of 2021. So it also has new electrical, new plumbing, roof, AC, flooring.
where is it out on 28?
It's 1062 South 28th.
Okay, so just below Harrison. Okay, awesome.
And then I have a mobile home in Fairview. It's 90,000, again, renovated completely. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 full bathroom. It's very luxurious. It has all the bells and whistles, and it has an extended patio.
Sounds like Bobby on needs to get to work.
He's been cracking the whip.
I put,
I think it's the other way around.
I put the signs on all of those.
Oh, that's.
It actually.
Thanks.
Nice.
You too.
guys got other hands? Sean?
Some of you have held open my South Ogden house. I'm going to drop the price on it today to whatever I need to have it sold. So if you have someone who's interested in it, let me know what your price needs to be, because I'm gonna put it, I need it gone. I'm tired of being so
BYOP.
yeah, for no price. I'm so tired of being poor, I can't even afford to pay attention. And then I'm selling, I got my Jackson property, 3323 Jackson, that is for rent. But I'm gonna put it on the market and sell it, whatever happens first, either someone rents it or someone buys it. That one is going to be like 425-ish, right around there. And if someone wants to hold it open too, let me know.
Sean, I might have somebody that wants that.
Okay.
Who else? Bensie's got some online?
Melanie has a 5-bedroom, 2-bath in South Ogden, which Melanie Wright.
Okay, sorry. South
5 bedroom,
Ogden.
yep, South Ogden, 5-bedroom, 2-bath for $455. Offering $5K towards closing, super nice area, and just had new EM floors.
Awesome. Got it online? Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Wants, needs, price reductions? Nothing? Okay. I think I timed out. We touched. Oh, go. Okay, there we go. All right, let's celebrate some people. You guys, look at all these cappers. Holy moly, April was massive for cappers. So Fabian, Mikkel, Trevor, Troy, Brandy, Wade, Jesse, Dalton, Sherry, Kaylee for the very first time. Marcia, Todd, Catherine, and Brett and Julie. You guys, that is a massive cap month. And Kaylee, we're so proud of you. That's awesome. I think that middle cappers. Once you cap, you'll never go back. So it's just true. It's just true. You're just gonna cap faster next time. So guys, see how much more fun it is if you come in person. We clap for you. We get so excited.
I know, I love it.
No, listen. You can.
No, what?
Oh, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, moving on.
Okay. Also, we have some people with their first closings. Christina Gonzalez was not her first closing ever, but it's the first one here at KW. Hunter, very first closing. So congratulations, you guys. First of many. And then our top individuals for listings taken, we had Marcia, Sean, Mikkel, and Jamie. Congratulations. Our top individuals for closed units, Marcia, Mikkel, Kaylee, Brandy, Julie, and Wade. Nice job. And then our top teams listings taken, we've got the Burdeners. Great job, guys. Where'd the top of the clicker? Ooh, top team for closed units, Key Utah Realtors. Nice job, ladies. Top group listings taken, Brett and Julie Real Estate, Freshman and Missy. Top group closed units, Unreal Realty Group. Nice job, guys. And then look at all these $1 million months too. This is awesome. So $1 million months, Marcia, Julie, Kaylee, Brandy, Wade, Mikkel, Hunter had his first closing and nice job, Sherry, Sandy, Connection Homes, the Utah Realtors, the Burdeners, Sun and Snow Homes, I'm a Real Realty Group, and Brett and Julie Real Estate. Right? This is for April as a reminder. So massive winnings in April. Nice job, everybody. Before we get started, there's this thing. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. It's new. It's a new law that just came out like this week, probably. We've never even talked about it. Making all your calls in a TCPA friendly and compliant way. If someone is on the do not call list, please do not call them. It's very simple. There's a lot of people not on that call list. There's a lot of people that may give you permission to call them that are on the call list, but they give you permission. So that's okay. If you don't have permission and they're on the do not call list, just don't call. Because then you're gonna get in hot water and you're gonna call Sean, you're gonna think Sean's gonna be able to help bail you out, and Sean's gonna say, sorry, guys, that's on you. We've given you a lot of disclaimers, and you are in fact breaking the rules, and E&O does not cover it, particularly when you do it intentionally. So there we go. All right, I'm super excited for Jessica and Justin. They're gonna take over team meeting today. They're gonna share some great wealth building tips, and we're excited to hear from them. So who wants the clicker?
We can even
You wanna
maybe
share
take turns.
Yes,
I
look
mean,
at you guys. Teamwork
And
makes
then-
the dream work, is what I heard.
most times,
Do you want me to help pass that stuff out?
yeah.
Does anybody need-
If you want a pen, you can. We're gonna kind of look at it, actually, yeah. If you want to, you can. We're just gonna like go through the process and you can do it on your own. We're gonna walk through different ideas. Some of the worksheets you can do now as we go, but also, later.
Let's maybe later, put one thought into it. Before we get going, I wanted to invite my good friend Chris Smith, in the back. He's a financial advisor. I asked him to come. One of the things that I wanted to focus on is how do we get somebody that says, hey, I want a rental, to actually, the whole point of the class is people say they want a rental and then they never buy it or don't know what the next step is, or how do we get there? And so we're going to talk about that. And I asked Chris to come because he has some ways that when you're saving the money to get the rental, you can put it in different funds that you can withdraw from that still get better interest. So I asked him to come if you guys want to set up a one-on-one. Thanks for coming.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
And then there's another piece, the thing that's kind of fun about Justin and I working together is that he's on a high level of investing, right? And I'm kind of on the side of where do you even start? And so that's where we're gonna start getting, right? So not everyone's gonna need all of the information. We're not gonna all be on the same page. We're not gonna be all with the same goals. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about is like, what is some of the motivation? We talk about a lot of times, like, what's the wig in, at Keller Williams, what's our really big goal? And so one of the books, if you've ever read it, or you can find it pretty easily, the 4-Hour Work Week, he talks about like why, right? But my question I kept bumping into that was like, why am I doing any of this? Why am I doing any of this? Well, of course I want to be happy. I want my family to be happy, but that just wasn't enough motivation for me to actually like move forward. Because okay, yeah, of course, I mean, really at the end of the day, do I need a ton of money to be happy? Well, if I'm looking around and I'm happy with what I have, then I can find happiness and gratitude, right? But that doesn't motivate me to go and like knock doors, because knocking doors is really hard sometimes, or hearing someone else tell me no. Because that's half of the business, is just having people tell you no, right? So one of the things that he says in the book, and he says, bear with me, what is the opposite of happiness? Sadness. No. Just as love and hate are two sides of the same coin, so are happiness and sadness. Crying out of happiness is the perfect illustration of this. The opposite of love is indifference, and the opposite of happiness is really, and here's the clincher, excitement, right? So, or I'm sorry, boredom. I gave you the key, boredom. Excitement is the more practical synonym for happiness, as it is more precise as we strive toward it is secure all. So my question is then, and using his dreamline, we could use this as like a 3-1-1, but in his scenario, we use it. And he buckets into 3 different places. He recommends that you do 2 different timelines. One is a 6-month timeline and one is a 12-month timeline. So you would copy this page that you guys have and do it twice. You would write 5 things that you want to have. You would do 5 things that you want to be, which for me, I don't ever want to be like a world-class painter, but I want to be a better artist, right? I want to be able to convey my thoughts and feelings through words, through pictures, through colors. So for me, one of my beings would be take an art class, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And then doing is like, what are some things that I want to do? Is there a legacy that I want to leave for my family? Is there a vacation that I want to take? So you could go ahead and do all those things, again, a 6-month one or a 5 and a 12-month one. And then you would break it down into what that cost is. The star that you guys have on here, the little circle box, you break it into, these are the 6-month, 12-month, but what's really most important? Because that's a lot, like 15 things in 6 months is a lot, right? But what are the top 4 things of that you want to do and focus on? And then you would break that into, once you have your expenses, and what he suggests, instead of just saying it's a Bugatti, what does it cost to buy a really fancy car? Like
You're asking the wrong person.
what's something that you want to have that's not real estate, but something fun that you want?
No, my cabin.
Okay, my cabin.
Yeah.
So what is the cost of that? Do you think, like the total overall cost? of
Are
it?
we looking at Jed's needs in the cabin or my needs? Something for like 600, 700,000.
Like 600, 700,000. No, that's a big number, right? So then to me, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, 600, 700,000. Where do I come up with all that money? Well, he recommends that instead of looking at the whole number, say, how much would that monthly cost, right? So now we start talking about that. When we're talking about investment, it looks a little bit different, but for the beginning, for the starter, we're going to break that down into a monthly cost. What would my monthly payments be? 600,000, 700,000. You know that off the top of your head. What's your monthly payments?
It'll probably be like 3,000, 4,000, 4,000 bucks, probably depending on what
See,
I
I knew she would have it off the top of her head.
$4,000.
Depending on what you put down, right? Obviously, there's all these different variables to it.
Yeah.
But then it makes it more into that target monthly income. And then you could even break it down again into the target daily income, which goes right into our breakthrough, right? Okay, my income needs to be X amount. I need to make this many phone calls to average out how many deals I need to do in order to get to that place, right? So this is the first step. Then the next thing you would do is say, what am I going to do now? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join Breakthrough 120. See, did you hear that plug? These ladies have got it for us. And then what am I going to do tomorrow and the day after that? So now we're going to just keep starting that momentum going. Are there any questions on the DreamWork worksheet? It's a little bit different way of looking at things, but we're going to just get those juices flowing.
Is this what you guys are gonna go over on Monday? Or is this different?
Right now,
Different.
right now, what we're doing is we're laying down the foundation, and then each month, each week, that we're only meeting twice a month, we're gonna build on that as we go. Does that make sense? And we also want to hear back from you guys and see what is important to you. Because right now we're stabbing in the dark. Like, I think people want to know this, and I think people want to know that. But we're happy to investigate anything that you guys have questions about, whether we know the answer or we reach out to a financial advisor to find those answers. We're happy to do that.
So before we go on.
Oh.
Some of you know that Marcus kind of took me and I sat with him and I was fine just selling real estate and living in my little starter house and like, he's like, what's your goal? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, I could sell 5 houses a year and like be fine, right? Because I had super low payments and he was trying to help me uncover a goal, a dream. And we sat there and we were talking and talking. And well, he's like, wouldn't you like to buy this fancy car? I'm like, I don't really give a shit. And like, there were so many, like, I don't care. It wasn't enough of a reason for me to change what I was doing. And then he said something about my son. And oh, I like it.
Yeah.
He said, what if you could give him something, down payment on a house, help him with college. And that's why I changed things, is for him. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, but that would go, like, that's a really excellent example of what doing would be, right? What do you want to do? Why are you doing this? Because you want to leave a legacy for your son. I think that's huge, right? And there are so many days where it's just like, well, I just want my kids to be happy. But then breaking it down into saying, how do I leave that for my children? Is a big deal. What does that look like?
Sure.
Okay. This is then, you would take what you want to do, but then also this is just basic lifestyle budget. This is from Marcus. And Suki helped with us. Did you see how fast it was? So if you guys have not started using Suki, that's my second plug of the day.
Suki's not released yet to the general public until the 16th.
Okay, well, As soon as the sixth, my bad.
Don't touch her.
Are you doing network tracker? Is it me?
We don't have that page, right? This lifestyle budget.
We can send this out
We're
to you.
winging it.
We can send this out to you,
Justin
so
and I are
this is gonna be part of it when you wanna figure out. Freedom number.
Yeah, we were gonna go over freedom number. Really,
Yes.
what, like, whatever tracker you use, like, whatever actual document you use, like, Keller talks all the time about if you track it as a pro, you start paying attention to how many shoes you buy, or how many times you go. That's the thing. And how many times you go out to eat, right? Like, how many times you just go to Starbucks and, things like that. And so whatever, there's a couple different trackers that we can send you, and I'm gonna go over one kind of at the end. But I really encourage you to say, this is what my mortgage payment is. And this is what I made last year. And like, where did your money go? Like what are your, do you have student loans? Do you have car payments? Like sometimes putting it in black and white and facing it is the scariest thing, but that's what gets you to start paying attention to those decisions.
Can I say just one little quick thing here? I think we're pretty quick sometimes to get nervous about our net worth, or we don't feel like it's where we want to be, so we just don't do anything about it. But to affect anything, you have to look at the reality of the situation. You have to inspect what you expect, but you've really got to look at the reality. So if you're looking at that and you're like, man, I do have more credit card debt than I wanted to have, or I had to take out some personal loans I didn't want to have. If you can really look them down and start looking at them, that's how you can start to affect it. That's how you start to slide these people. If you just come to this today and you go, that's all really great, but I don't want to sit down and write that up. I don't want to sit down and write these things because they're scary. Or
I don't
whatever,
want to look at it.
or I don't want to look at it, right? Just nobody else has to see it, but do this yourself. And then also don't be afraid to ask people for help. If you're like, hey, I did it, and I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to start. I don't know how to tackle it. Ask people for help. We're all here to help you. Yep.
I got divorced 2014 into 2015, and my net worth was negative on some payments, right? And so in 10 years, like, things can totally change. So just because you're divorced, you're starting over, not where you want to be.
Divorced in 2025.
Yeah. So like in 2035,
Right.
where are you be in 2035? And you'll be in the same place unless you do something different. And that's the point of what we're trying to like, if you want something different, you have to do something like that. And start tracking.
And this is the point of this too, is that your net worth equals all of your assets together. So the first time I did this, I had a house, we had 3 cars, we had all these different things, right? And then you do minus any payments out of that. So your liability, and that's what creates your entire net worth. So, or you can be like some politicians and just pretend that your liabilities don't exist and you can just declare bankruptcy someday. No big deal, right? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do it like that. Do be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person that this is going to affect is yourself, right? So I would recommend highly, if you need help too, understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, ask Justin, ask me. Chris isn't here. I'm sure he would be able to help you figure out which column does it go to. That's, I think, some of the most difficult part of this spreadsheet.
It's gonna make you money in the future. We're gonna call it an asset. It's gonna cost, if you're gonna sell it for less in the future, I would call that a liability. Your car, it's gonna go down in value. That's not an asset. That's a liability. And you can have, yeah, you have $20,000 in equity in your car. Sure, that goes on your net worth line, but like, really, where are you putting your money? You're driving this brand new car, but now you have this thing.
I was gonna say, I mean, your vehicle, I mean, you have a list on here, right? It's an asset. But what are you paying for it, right?
Yes.
And it determines the difference. That would tell you what it's an asset or liability, right? You're getting.
And so that's another really great point, because now we have a financial advisor in the room. If you're not sure, ask someone, right? There are people out here who know, and that's exactly right. The note that you pay every month, I own my car free and clear. It's an asset, right? But it's only worth what I could sell it for. It's not necessarily worth what I bought it for, right? So there's some nuance to some of that, but obviously any credit card debt's gonna be a liability. It doesn't hold any value. You can't sell it to someone else. At a increase or even at a loss, so. Okay. Freedom number.
Who has their freedom number? The number that you need to retire, to live the life you want, like, does anybody know what that number is? 2, 3, 4 of us in a room, 5, 6, right? So,
$6, that's your freedom number. You can quit tomorrow.
I know.
I bet you have $6.
I'm going to lunch.
so one
And
thing that,
$6.
one thing that's happened to me is this keeps changing, right? Like the closer I get to the field goal, like I keep moving, right? But what is retirement, like when is retirement, like what do you have now? How much longer are you gonna work? And what's it gonna cost when you go to retire? And this is one reason I brought Chris is because he has tools to help this, right? To look at it a different way. And it's not necessarily a plug for Chris. He just is a good friend of mine.
And done right by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a solid dude.
And
So-
when I said Chris, I apologize. There's 2 Chris's. I was also thinking about office Chris, so I apologize for that.
But so when you're going through this, how much is the house that you're gonna wanna live in, right? So maybe you're upgrading your house, you live in a starter house or you're renting. How much is that gonna cost? How often are you gonna buy a car and how much? Like, are you driving a Honda? Or are you driving an Acura, right? Like, what's that cost of a car? Are you gonna get a boat? Like Sean that left, like, he's always gonna own a boat. So on he's always gonna have a toy line for a boat. So what is all this gonna cost? And we'll go through this, but this, in our club, and we're gonna have Marcus talk about it a little bit. He'll come and do it with us. I would really encourage if you have a +1 husband, wife, partner, that you're doing these things together, right? Like if they have debt, hopefully you know about it. And like Rusty said, like Jed's cabin might look like he has an outhouse and you want indoor plumbing.
He sends me stuff and I'm like, no.
You know? Marcus isn't here, but Marcus wanted to buy a sailboat and sail around the world. And his wife Rochelle was like, yeah, that's not happening. So we're gonna be here with kids. So like what's our goal look like together, not just separately.
And I think there's a side to that, like you've said, that, okay, no, I'm gonna veto that. But how do you work together as a team to make that, I didn't mean to be pointing at you, I apologize, but.
I don't have a +1.
That's why I'm not. But how do you as a couple work together as a team so that you can both find a middle ground where everyone can be happy, right? We're in real estate, we are master negotiators, or we should be, right? So we should be able to figure that out at the very core of our own home, and that is with our companion, whoever that is.
One thing to point out on this, when your net worth, your primary home, unless you're renting it and living in a trailer, that does not count as an income producing asset. Big difference, right? Like you can't say, hey, I have $1 million house, and now I have $1 million working in the market, but you're not going to get a return every month. You still need to live somewhere. Okay, next.
No.
Anybody have any questions? We're going too fast, too slow? Anything you guys want us to touch on? Just during headlights?
Okay,
Do you have the?
this is you.
Oh,
You're gonna go through, this is, so now Justin, you're gonna walk through what it looks like to make a deal.
I am.
See, he didn't look through any of the slides.
So, I don't know. Does anybody in the room know I don't like to be told what to do? Does anyone,
No,
caught that?
people asked you, would you like to have a slide? And you said,
So I made a slide. I made 2 slides.
good, let's do that.
You need a skip for it?
maybe you need to just, I don't know how you guys got to that.
No. I don't know where it's at.
What were you looking for?
This one?
Well, he's looking for that.
Oh,
What I
he
wanted to
applied
do
for
is talk about this the powerpay.org. If you guys are in a situation where first step is getting real with what your budget is today, this is a website that Sean gave us. It will help you figure all of that out. So while these guys are looking at that, you can write down, it's powerpay.org. I've gone into it. Another thing that I've done with this, I've sent it to clients who were like, yeah, we want to buy a house, but we don't know where to start. Or I have one client who bought a house and they were like, we're ready to upgrade, but we're not sure about our budget. So that's where I sent them. So it's a very valuable resource that I just was gonna tack on, but.
So I'm gonna talk about this page. If everyone turn to, what would it look like if you paid 20 grand over asking? Who remembers Steph's listing in the fall that had solar on it? And it was overpriced and didn't sell and didn't sell and didn't sell and didn't sell and didn't sell. Well, I bought it. It was on the market. Nobody wanted it. I made an offer in August. And they said no. And then I made an offer in late September that was worse than the offer in August. And they took it. And so this house, I bought for $447. There was one block over that was the same, identical on the market. And it was 20 grand less. And I was like, well, do I buy this one or do I buy this one? And they didn't offer, and the reason I'm talking to you directly in this room is they didn't say seller finance. They didn't say VA assumption. It was on the market and nobody was buying it. And so I just made an offer and said, if you want to move, I'll help you move. I didn't have to go to a lender. I didn't have to go to Tommy and say, here's my $100,000 down. I bought this house, I think out of pocket, it was like 32,000, something close to that. And they have a 2.4 interest rate compared to like if you bought one today, it's probably 7.25, 7.5 as an investment property. And so in the fall, I went through and with ChatGPT, like kept asking a question, like, how does this make sense? Because it feels like it makes sense to buy it and get this seller finance. And at first, ChatGPT was like, no, that makes no sense. Why would you overpay? And like I had to keep talking to it. So I needed 40 down. I used my commission, gave myself a credit at closing for my commission, right? Same as I would do with the house across the street. So you can see loan amount, that's what my loan amount would be. So my loan 409. This is like my actual numbers on this property. So my loan's 409. That includes the solar. If I would have put down the 25%, it would have been 320. So my payment, 1,600 versus like I put 30 grand down, 1,600 versus if I put 100 and some change down, was still 2,100 a month, right? So if you scroll down to the bottom there, the 5-year return of the cash 30 grand I put in is 470% versus 85%. And then I just kind of mapped it out at the very long at the bottom of like what it would be over the life of buying it. It's crazy to me because I've seen a couple of these deals come up on the MLS and like nobody picks them up. And we should be the ones that are like, hey Rusty, you want to pick up another rental? Hey Christy, do you have 30 grand, right? 40 grand, do you want to partner on it? I wasn't the first one to walk through this house. I was probably the 100th, right? She had it forever. And I get asked a lot about what is it going to take? What is it going to take? And my normal answer is you need 100 grand. Like if you want to buy investment property, don't come talk to me until you have 100 grand. Once you have 100, then let's go look at something. But if you can find something where the seller will say, okay, so this one was a VA. I was going to assume it in the beginning, and he was gonna relinquish his benefits. So you can do a VA assumption two ways. You can be a veteran, which I'm not, and assume it, and they get their benefits back. Or you can assume it, and it locks up their benefits. Well, he's 70 something years old, he's like, can I still qualify for the next house? And the lender said yes, so he had no problems to tie his benefit to me, because he's gonna go die in this next house, right? Dalton, I'm speaking your language, bro.
I know, those are the words that stay inside. You have to practice.
Let's get real.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's about to go.
So,
Explain what the benefit is. It's a dollar amount, right? A VA gets a total amount of X and that's where they came out of that,
Well,
right?
yeah, yes and no. So when you
Like
look,
credits.
when you look at their eligibility, it'll say 417. But depending on how much they're putting down, will depend on how much their benefits are. So if you put nothing down, you get a low calculation. You put 5 or 10, 20% down, their entitlement goes up substantially. So just because and you can have multiple VA loans based off your entitlement. So these, like I saw one on the market in West Haven for 2.8, and I was like, Jet, you want to go buy a house? And he would be like, for real, my client was looking at it and I didn't want to take it from her. But I was gonna be like, Jet, you're buying a house, you're living up the street, I'm gonna put your name on it and I'll co-sign on this deal, 2.8, right? So I guess how much time do we have? A while?
Yeah.
So, I just get a lot that people are like, hey, I can't find one or I can't do something. 2 of the last properties I bought were out of this room.
and you didn't go to a lender for either.
The last 3 properties I've not gone to. I went to the seller and it was a way better deal with the seller. So I have a 3.75, this 2.4, 3.1.
So explain Southern financing in like a short version.
Jessica owns a house, she's been paying on it. She has a mortgage with whoever. And I go to Jess and I say, okay, I'll buy your house. How much do you need to go to the next place? That's what their real thing was. And they needed a very small amount. Most of this, like, Steph got paid in the deal, the other agent, right? But I sat down with the owner and said, this is what I'll offer. I'll take over payments of your loan at Wells Fargo or wherever it is. And I'll make them directly to Wells Fargo, or we can make them to a third party. Like there's several ways to do it. Sometimes it's called creative financing, but Sean does not like that term. So because there's so many different ways to do it. So essentially, I'm like, here's some money. I now go on title as the owner. Jess goes on as essentially the new bank. So for her to get the house back, she would have to foreclose on me to get it back. If I stopped making payments, her original loan would foreclose on her, which would foreclose me, right? So that explain it like in an overview.
And she will stay on the hook until.
She's financially on the hook, but she is not on title. That's a big difference. So if she messes up her life, gets a judgment, she's not on title, so it's not gonna affect me at all. Because she's now as more of a lender than I don't want to get too deep in the woods.
Sure.
But if somebody sued her, they can't come take my house.
He's not.
Yeah,
Right.
so if they do a title search, it doesn't come up.
But if Wells Fargo were to pull a search and see that the title has been conveyed, then they could call the note due.
They could
Depending on the loan, potentially.
potentially,
Well, that's the do on sell clause that we talk about in the rec C. So yes, we are told that we should let everyone know, including ourselves, that it can be called. It doesn't mean it will be, but it can.
right, there's a couple ways to, I feel like to come
Circumvent
that.
Okay, good,
Uh,
that's for another.
But maybe not on.
Yeah, I was like, let's not talk about those ways.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying,
totally
let's use
sidestepped
the
it.
rec.
Got it.
There's a do on sell clause and that it can be called.
Yeah, and so, that's something to think about, right? That you're getting this good deal and it could, go back. Most lenders just want the payment made.
Of course, as long as the payments we made, they don't ask any questions.
But there's ways legally to do it. You can put it in a trust where it can't be seen like who the actual owner is. You
Okay.
can put it in a land trust.
Great.
There's
So,
different
and
legal
then
ways.
what's the advantage of you doing that seller financing? Obviously, there's a little bit of risk to you, but what's the advantage
Well,
for you?
so on this one,
Number one glaring advantage is,
cash flow, right? So down payment and cash flow, are number one and number two.
and he gets to carry that lower interest rate.
And probably the biggest unannounced thing is, that we'll talk about is writing the house off and depreciation. And so,
Which is taxes.
so if you're paying taxes in this room, you should buy rental properties, because the more rental property you own, the less you pay tax. And so, up to like a negative number, like look at all the pro ball players. They always have a wife that is a real estate agent, because they make $1 million and they go buy a $5 million house and they write it off, legally. But that's a time for a different class. But if you're like paying taxes in this room as a real estate agent, you should buy. So, yeah, especially if you have a spouse, right? Like if Rusty and Jed, Jed makes W-2 income, since Rusty is a real estate professional, she can write off her active income, and when they file jointly, that his falls under her and they can write it. I'm not a tax professional. But if you're paying taxes, you should buy rental. Anybody have questions, thoughts? Go ahead.
One more thing about the seller financing, and you're also taking over a loan that sometimes you're not starting at 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, both of these bills, they had been there for 7 years. So the first handful of years, you're paying all interest. And so when you look at a table of how payments are made, if I start at a 30-year, $200 goes to interest. And now I take over your loan, $600 a month of this 16 goes to principal, instead of the 2. So there's a lot of benefits to it. There are some pitfalls that you need to be aware of. So I can write off not the full 400 whatever, because you can't write dirt off. But you can normal depreciation, like this house loses 15 grand a year. So if I made 15, I just take 15 off my income. So yeah.
How does it affect the owner of the home if they're trying to get another property?
They can use, it's sell, right? So they can say, I sold the property to my LLC. So they're, depending on the lender, may or may not do that.
A lot of times they'll look and see a payment history and see if it, like they've been making a steady payment history, and they can use portions of that. They look at it almost like an investment.
Yeah, in the future, it's a lot easier. So like in 2 years or 3 years, they've seen that I've made all the payments. Day one, you have to have a lender that can understand that it was sold and now I'm financially responsible and that I put up money.
The seller still legally is, if that forecloses, that's still.
Responsible before was part.
Yeah. Anybody have questions? I wanted to, some of my time, I really wanted to go through the spreadsheet.
Do it. Let's go.
Can I have this?
Yeah.
I think I want this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. And then. So I'll send this to whoever wants it. There's nothing.
And that's what's printed out too in the last.
Yeah, so I printed it out. It came on a couple different pages. I kind of just feel like I need something. This isn't like super fancy. I just messed around with the spreadsheet for a while. My buddy was buying a rental and I was like, you should buy more property. So let's say you buy a house at 427. That's what today's price is. You can change the appreciation from 2% to 4%, or whatever you think is gonna be long term. On the far left here, you can see that first year it was 427 and it went up 17 grand, right? And then as time goes on, in 30 years, at 4%, that same house is 1.2. So, and then each year you make, effectively, you're gaining that equity position, right? And then this one is like where I track, like I put, so this number on my spreadsheet is different because I have 13, which makes these all different. But if you, once you change this number, it would change. So. If it's right side up, it's gonna. I was like, that's not. So let's say you bought a $500,000 place. It changes all of these. No, it didn't. I'll have to update it before I send it out. I didn't want to send mine out for a specific reason. But essentially it would change all of these. This is how I track my rent. Rent goes up in Utah over the last 15 years. It's gone up 8% a year on average, which is crazy. Last couple of years, it's been kind of flat and somewhat negative, but this is what gives me hope in the future, right? Like, so I put my rent today at 2 grand, and I say, okay, at 2% a year, which is only $40 a month for them. In 10 years, I'm getting, instead of 2,000, I'm getting almost 2,400, right? And then if you do this for each property in 10, 15 years, like we were talking about with Jess, your financial picture drastically changes, right? And then this far column, like sometimes you have a crap day and you're like, why am I doing this? You know, lifetime profit that you own this house in 10 years, you made 100 grand in cash. That's not equity, that's cash from, but obviously assuming that the person rented or paid rent the whole time, right? And we'll talk about money for repairs. So this is his house specifically. He bought a house in Roy. Yeah, this is on a different page. The way that it prints out,
On the very last.
it's on the back side. So this is what the value is. And you can update these. This is what I use to track my net worth. Is this part of the spreadsheet. So I've got a list of every house that I own, what it's worth, how much I owe, what my equity position is. And as you change these, it's going to change this net worth number. So on this example, they had 67,000 in equity. Every time they make a payment, $460 goes to principal. So I count that as a deposit in my 401k, so to speak, right? So the balance of the mortgage goes down. This is what I rent that place for. This is what the payment is. So I deposit cash flow of 550. This debt reduction. So this 550 plus the 460 is 1,000. That number at the top, if you divide that by 12, add these together, each month on this property, I make $2,433 to my net worth, right? So the property is going up in value, they're paying the mortgage down, and I'm getting a check, right? So each year I'm making $30,000 on this this one property. And then I just threw some numbers in here, like you have a vehicle that, like Jess said that she paid cash for, so she has a vehicle that's worth 50 grand that she can sell. And maybe you have a clunker that you can sell for 5 grand. Cash on hand, like what's in your bank account. And then I put in this commission number that's like, hey, this is what I have going under contract. This is like what's going to happen over the next 45 days that I feel. And then, and you can put that at 0, just depending on how you feel with money. I think everybody does money different, but this is how I do my net worth is like, I wanted this big picture of like, where am I at when I'm having to, like today, I'm replacing a furnace for $5,000, literally today, and they're carpeting another house for $3,000. And so there's $8,000 coming out today. And when you look at this and you say, well, if you scroll up and you're like, I have, when I send this to you, it's all on one, but when we sent it over, like in 10 years, it's all gonna be worth it because this house will be worth 600,000, right? To me, that's when I'm dishing out $8,000 today. That's the number that I have to pay attention to. It's not, I'm losing money, it's an investment into this future.
Plus the tax deduction.
Yeah, so we'll talk specific tax deduction. Again, I'm not a tax, but I'll probably have a tax person come that does my properties, and so she'll speak specifically to that. But that's not even on this at all. So, like, if you take the value of this house at whatever I had at 470, 447, you can't deduct dirt, right? So you minus the dirt out, it's worth 380 or 350. The standard deduction is 27.5 years. So you divide 350 by 27.5 years. That's your standard deduction, meaning that's what you get to take. Again, I'm not a tax person, so don't write this down. But that's what you get to take essentially off your income. And then when I put a furnace in, I get to take that too. Any repairs, any money I spent, I get to deduct that as well. Obviously offsetting the rent portion. But that to me, like, if you fast forward into the future and you say, okay, if I saved 10 grand or 20 grand this year, and in 4 years I can buy a rental, and then that tax deduction is going to pay for the next one. Because I'm not going to pay, instead of sending money to the IRS, I put it in this bank account for the next house, right? Or I give it to Chris that says, hey, put it in this money market account that will gain interest. So instead of sending it all to the IRS, start taking part of that, putting it into a fund where it's going to fund the next house. Thoughts, questions? What are you guys, like, what are you feeling so that we know where to go? Because I'm happy to share. I just don't want to preach for sure. But I can talk about investments all day long.
Break down into steps for those of us that have never, that have only been thinking about this for 10 years.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush in, right?
Yeah.
How do I
Actually, the market crash.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the market to crash.
Waiting for the right, I'm just timing the market.
Timing the market.
So steps of like what?
Yeah, I
Step one, step two.
I don't want to speak for the whole room, but for me, it's like, okay, so I think there was actually a slide that kind of had that like getting started point. So that's homework, so that way we know what we're starting with. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then after that, then what? Then we get the first one bought. But I think it's probably just confirm or deny. Once you buy your first one, next one's not near as scary, right? You don't know.
Yeah, the first one was like, I was like, how do I afford 2 mortgage payments?
Right.
Because I can't count on you to pay it. So how am I going to afford 2? Right. And then when I got to probably 4, then I started to relax. And then when I went past 8 or 9, it like came back again. And now it's like money just comes and goes, and just like in and out of the account, and it's more of a business. In the beginning, it's like your first day in real estate, right? So I think the first step, like we talked about, where are you today? Like, where are you at? Do you have a positive number? Do you have a negative number? Right? I think that's and how much can you or are you wanting to invest into real estate? I think that's the very first step. Go ahead.
Maybe add in just getting a clear idea of your criteria. Maybe talk about that, because I know that you would identify the property, and when it comes up, it's an easy decision, but when you don't know what your criteria is, that's when I think it can become a little more challenging.
Yeah.
Tell me about kind of what your
Yeah.
personal criteria is, what you're looking
I have buy box that if it fits in this box, I'm totally interested. And if it's not, I might go look at it, but like it's outside of the normal, right? Like one of them is I want them kind of all in the same area because then I can like, I made one of them have a garage that has like storage. So I have a garage full of my crap that I can hit 5 houses in 3 blocks. And I bought one in North Ogden. It was like, it was a struggle to make that, but yeah, figuring out what you want it to look like, I think is a huge thing. Do you have more to share?
No.
What else? I'm assuming if you're in this room, you want to buy an investment property at some point. And so I think when you say eventually, like, what does that look like, right? So if it's this eventual number, where is it going to be? So if buying real estate is going to help you to get to that freedom number, then when's that going to change, right? Like, are you just investing in a stocks, bonds, 401s, like the normal market? Or are you taking advantage of what we have in the office to reduce your tax liability? Have other, like, find deals that before half of the homes that I bought, I was sitting with the seller to list it and ended up buying. So be in the right place at the right time.
How many months do you typically put aside, in the event of something breaking down in like a rental?
Yeah, you and I talked about that. 6 months. So when I have a buddy that has less than a month and has 100 and something doors, and he has less than a month. So if nobody paid, the cards all fall down, and he's fine with that. But to sleep at night, I want 6 months of everything. So any bill that I pay or associated to pay for anything, so that life, to me, the scariest part about buying real estate is selling when the market's down. So if you can weather a storm long enough, real estate has always gone up, right? Like we would all go back to 2009, buy a house, 2008, buy a house all day long. And that, at the time, that was the worst. Nobody wanted to buy a house because it was like, but we would all go back there and buy it, right? Well, if you had to sell and had to sell in 10 or 11, you're losing money. But if you could weather the storm long enough, and some of that is like, I have a couple lines of credit that, like, if times got really tough, I can make payments and not pay direct cash, right? And move some stuff. Or identifying the houses that which if shit hit the fan, which one's gonna go first, right? Which one is my favorite that makes money? Which one is like, I hate this one and it's always a problem and I'd be happy to get rid of it anyway. Like I already have that identified. You're the first red. Is anyone a redhead? You're the redhead to.
Wrong with
Yeah.
real estate.
I think just for time's sake, if you guys have other stuff, are you open to them just like emailing or texting you guys like some of the things
Yeah.
that you would like to cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love ideas. I definitely don't want you to be like, hey, I want to buy my house. Let's go sit down and talk. But we can talk through that. Like I'm totally open to do that, but I have kind of a criteria to sit down. I've burned myself a few times being like, great, Fabian, let's go sit down. And you're like, I don't have any money, but what are the 10,000 steps I have to do? Right? Like
That's what this club is for.
yeah, that's what I want this group to be. It's not just who's in the room. So if there's somebody in here that you know that should be, you can invite them. I think eventually I'm going to do this outside of this office, like general public, to my clients and things. But that's what this club is for, is to get people from, hey, I've been wanting to buy something for 10 years. Well, what for me, until Marcus said, well, what about Jet? I was just like, I'm fine. I can sleep back in my car, like whatever. Like, I don't care. until he said something that like hit home. Was the moment that I went from like, oh, making 80 grand a year to making more was when it changed. So. Yeah.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
What, can you at some point expand about how you find renters, what you do to qualify?
Yeah, rain dances and spray.
A little more strict criteria than Justin.
You know what happened?
Tell about the marshals there, Justin.
Yeah, I've had US Marshals wake me up in the middle of the night. I've had cockroach people that are fine to live with cockroaches.
So it's pretty stress-free.
Meth.
I bought a couple meth houses. Yeah.
We can definitely. put
But
that
yeah,
on.
I think and it's all tax write-off. So if you want a tax write-off, have a shitty renter and then.
To make sure you have the money to cover the rent during the.
I think that's actually a strategy.
That's a fallback plan.
Okay.
Plan B.
Yeah, but we'll talk like budget wise, like what it looks like and like. We'll go into depth, but really today I want it to be total surface. Like I really, if you're interested, we gotta start, you gotta see where you're at today. And then see where you wanna be. And then we connect the dots. Originally mine was, I want 7 rentals. That was my freedom number at the time. And that's as far as I could see. And then I went way past that and I don't know where that is gonna, but anyway.
You'll get it figured out.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. If you have questions or if you have ideas, I'm totally down to incorporate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let me click back over. Thank you so much, you guys. And we have Joel today.
Hi, guys.
Wait, let me go right in here. Sorry.
Yeah. Perfect. And then you're
Joel, Holly, how are you?
good. How are you doing?
Good, welcome.
All right. Hi, guys. Happy to see everyone. How's everyone doing?
So great.
Recognize anything different about my umbrellas that I'm holding today versus in the past?
More.
White more? There's a white one, a yellow one. Okay, so this is what we've been working on. If you want an umbrella, a yellow one or a white one, let me know. So we're just changing up our branding. This looks a little different. It's not live yet. Okay, so but we've just kind of decided to make our branding a little more uniform. So we eliminated the orange umbrella, which was the $300 plan. The black one stays the same. We took out the red one and made it the yellow. And then the green one replaced the blue one. Okay, so only 4 umbrellas now versus 5, so there's 1 less. But so anyway, if you guys want a white or yellow one, let me know. So this will probably go live. Our 13th anniversary is this July, so we'll probably go live with all the new branding and everything on July 1st. So
I want a white.
okay, so watch for it around July 1st. These will be. This is what the brochures are going to look like. So these will be in all the title companies and in you guys' offices. So yeah, right around July 1st is probably when we'll launch that. What do you guys think of the color scheme? Yes, like it? Yeah, I think it looks really sharp. We're excited about it. So remember we offered the seller's coverage, guys. We're still offering that. Even though we changed our branding a little bit and our colors. Our pricing stays the same, our great service stays the same, so nothing's changed. You don't need to be aware of anything. There might be a little bit to go through when the plans do change, because maybe, we'll make sure that your clients aren't getting confused with what color plan they have. We'll make sure everyone's aware of what's going on. So anyway, so we're still offering the seller's coverage it'll be the white plan. We cover up to $500 of free seller's claims. So take advantage of that. Because our pricing is so good, you guys, we're pushing this really hard. Get your clients 2 years of coverage. The amount of money that's being written in for a home warranty is around $700-800 these days. So take advantage of our great pricing. You can take our $500 plan year 1, our $300 plan year 2 for $800, 2 years of coverage. Okay,
You become the hero though.
yes, it's gonna make you look good, and we're gonna make you guys look good because we're gonna cover their claims when they come in, all right? I'm gonna hang around. I brought Moe's Southwest Grill, got a nice spread out there for you guys, so I'm gonna hang around and have some lunch with you guys, and I'm open for any questions you guys might have about warranties in general or equity on warranty, all right? But can't come into this office without expressing my gratitude. You guys have been amazing, been a great supporter of equity home warranty, and we're grateful for you. So thank you very much, and go enjoy a nice lunch on us. Thank you so much.
If you have questions, I really encourage you to chat with us about it. I'm just gonna say, these guys are my go-to. When I insure like my family homes, this is who I wanna use because I do know they're a good local company. They take care of my people. And if there's ever something that's not claimed, I can always get it not covered. There's always a good explanation and there's always something that we're trying to do to make sure our client walks away happy. And Joel, that means a lot to me. I appreciate it a ton. Like I know I can always call you and Yancy, and it's very rare that I have to do that because my people just get great customer service. But I want to remind you, your people that you choose are an extension of you. And the people you recommend are an extension of you and your team. So make sure you have people on your team that you can trust and that you know you can pick up a phone and make a call and say, hey, just help me understand this. And if you have any questions about how to do that, if you have any questions about how you should be explaining a warranty, if you're a newer agent, please talk to these people because don't just go get a warranty and it'll cover everything wrong in the inspection because you're setting yourself and your client up to fail. So anyway, that's my soapbox about that. But Joel, you're huge. Like I know I can trust you guys and you're a huge supporter of the office and it means a lot to me too.
Thank you, appreciate that. But on top of what you said, guys, everything is so expensive anymore out there to repair and to replace. And so tame your expectations with the warranty. It is there to offset some of the expensive costs, but I mean, a furnace and AC swap out is 15 grand. Okay, no home warranty out there is going to cover $15,000 on a full replacement. Okay, it's there to offset some of the expensive costs, but tame your expectations and make sure that your clients understand that as well. It's really important. Okay?
You and
yeah. Oh yes. Correct.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
Joel's gonna hang out for a minute. Thanks again to Jessica and Justin for that great class. Watch for more information on the Well series. If there's specific things that you want to learn more about, make sure you share it. It sounds like what we're gonna start with is just very, very basics, which is that number one, the net worth tracker. You got to look at your actual real life situation right now today. Because if you don't start looking at that, and if you're not in a position today to buy a property, you're not going to be in 5 years if you don't start trying to pay attention to that. So, hey, awesome. Thanks so much, you guys.